Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to It's Pudding's Tea. So, welcome to episode 3. And I want to go ahead and apologize for any background noises you may hear. You may hear the air conditioning cut on. Hopefully, you still can hear me over the air condition. Or you may hear some other background noises. My apologies. So let's get straight into it. Today on episode 3, I want to get into illusion. I also may, if I have time, dip into intentions. But I'm going to start off with illusions. False ideas or beliefs. Now, when it comes to illusions, of course there are illusions that you were born into. There's illusions that were set up, blah, 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 blah. We talked about that on a previous episode. So if you haven't checked that out by chance, go ahead and do so. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and kind of piggyback off of some of the things I said in the other episode. But you may hear some things twice or whatever. It's fine, But anywho, when it comes to illusions, yes, there were and there are a lot of illusions that are set up for us in this matrix, of course. Duh, it wouldn't be a matrix without illusions. But a lot of illusions we fail to realize that we create for ourselves. Now, when I say that, when it comes to ideas or beliefs, when you get to a certain age, it's whatever you decide to believe in. It's whatever you focus your attention on. It's whatever pretty much you have that choice. When you get to a certain age, it's your decision and it's your choice what you're going to believe in. Now, if you're not sure, or if you're wondering what I mean by illusions exactly, especially when it comes to spirituality or just life in general, we all tend to, for example, wear a mask, right? To me, mask, illusion, one and the same. You can't really necessarily have one without the other. Just think about that for a second. When you go to work, you act one way. When you're at home, you act one way. Think about it. When your sibling calls you, or when a family member calls you, or a friend calls you, you answer the phone one way, right? But when it's business, of course it's not everybody, but when it's business, you answer the phone in a whole completely different way. You're creating all these different personalities to fit different situations. Now, I'm not gonna say it's a problem. Of course, it comes naturally. It really does. We all do it. We all are guilty of that one. But we really do have to practice being more, aware of self, being more aware of when you're switching these faces and you're upholding illusions. Now, it's something that you may trip over when it all boils down to it. Because, of course, you're not going to answer the phone for your mom one way and answer the phone for your cousin another way, right, for example. And maybe you do. And if you do, hey, kudos to you. If you say, hey, this is me, my mama know me better than anybody. So she already know what it is. She already know how I am, how I get down. Okay, hey, kudos to you. But are you the same exact way? Are you the same person in every single situation? Now, sometimes you feel like you can't. But I choose to believe, right? I choose to believe that it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And let me see if I can think of something else. Because I love examples. Of course, I've said that. You'll probably hear me say that many times more. Because there's a lot of different people who will listen to this podcast, and I try my best to come up with examples because I'm that type of person. I like for you to paint a certain picture for me, And sometimes I can relate, but I don't relate to the example, if that makes sense. So it's a little harder for me to understand. Now, by all means, if it is hard for you to kind of sort of get any of my examples or whatever the case may be, or how I describe something, feel free to let me know. My information is on my page. Feel free to let me know. Or research. If something I say or something I state sparks something in you, please do your research. Don't take what I said and be like, yes, I get it. It makes perfect sense. Don't just take what I say, because my whole mission is not to make you believe something different. It's not to force you to stop believing in something. It's really to open yourself up to yourself. At the end of the day, my mission is to pretty much teach people to think on their own. Believe what you want to believe. Do what you want to do. You got one life to live. No one can live it for you, like I said before. So, when it comes to these illusions, you end up building illusions around yourself. You end up building illusions that end up becoming your own cage or prison, honestly. At a certain point in life, you cannot blame other people. You can't blame other people. Yes, we've all been through the ringer. Everyone goes through things, big or small. But you always have a choice. I'm sorry, you have a choice. At the end of the day, no one's a victim. If that makes sense. At the end of the day, no one's a victim. At the end of the day, you made a choice, whether you were going to go with this or you weren't going to go with it. And that's perfectly fine. To me, like I said, I believe that there's no such thing as a mistake. Could you imagine some of the decisions that you made, and if you could go back and change them? Could you imagine how? Don't look at always, get mad at yourself like I should have did this. Why don't you go back and see what play with your imagination. You know what I'm saying? It's not there for nothing. You have to be childlike. That's why children are so happy. And plus they don't have bills and things like that. But anyway, play with your imagination for a second here. As a matter of fact, you need to play with your imagination as much as possible. But anyway, just go back and think, okay, what if I would have done that thing that I said I should have done? And actually show yourself how it probably couldn't have worked out if you would have done it that way. And some people have that ability. They can see okay, this was a blessing, not a blockage. Because if you really, really sit and think about certain situations, you may have been upset then. It may have seemed like a mistake then, but 5 years down the road, you're like, you know what? I'm kind of glad that happened. Because if that wouldn't have happened, I would have never seen this or realized this or experienced this. There are so many people I would not have met and it would have set my growth back if I would have, because there's a decision that I had a lot of trouble accepting, and I had to go back and do the same thing I just told you guys to do. And it made me realize, oh shit, without that decision I made, I would have met half the people I met, had half the experiences that I had. Those experiences played a huge part in my growth. And anything that plays a part in you growing closer to yourself is a blessing. Whether it's a breakup, whether it's a makeup, whether it's a job, it doesn't matter. But I also, I posted this once before on my Facebook, right? Where I posted something of the sort like, don't regret anything. Because if you think about it, certain parents regret not having their children necessarily. Some of them do. But the time that they had their children, like, well, I wish I would have had them later on, or when I had this and that, and, whatever the case may be. So just think about that for a second. What if your parent felt like having you at that particular time was a mistake. And they had the power to go back and change it. So that's pretty much how you have to look at things like that, And it's like time and things like that that play a part in life are all technically an illusion. You ever been doing something and all of a sudden it's 4 hours later and you're like, when did that happen? How did that? Wait a minute. So, I don't know. Illusion is a little sticky. That subject is a little sticky for me because there's illusions on top of illusions on top of illusions on top of illusions. And attempting to break free from these illusions can be hard. I will admit that. Now, that's why we're going to go into intention. Listen, nothing matters. Nothing else matters. Intention is number one. What's the intention behind this? Because intention is fuel. Intention fuels everything. You can say something one way, but that's not how you intended for the person to take it. You understand? So your intentions are the most important part of your life, really, and especially when it comes to decision making. So anytime you're questioning yourself or someone else's motives or someone else's actions or decisions, you have to consider their intentions. You have to consider your intentions. Is that what you intended? If that's not what you intended, then don't feel bad. If you intended on hurting someone and you hurt someone, then yeah, you might need to kick yourself in the butt for that, because that's not nice. But it's all about intention. When you pay attention to intention, it's like, okay, you're dating someone and they're doing this, that, and the third. Let's say they are doing, giving you gifts and compliments and things of that nature. And we're going to split this into two different examples. On one side, you have where you've had previous relationships where people technically love bombed you, which means that they do all of that, they get in your good graces, and then they turn into a bat out of hell. They turn into a little demon, Satan spawn, succubus, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Then on the other side, you have this person that you're talking to who's not trying to love bomb you, right? So this is where you come in and you go deep within yourself, and you not with your psyche, not with your mind, your head, but with your heart. Your heart has memory, by the way, people. Your heart has memory, okay? Not just your mind, your heart does as well. So you go into your heart chakra, and if you have issues with that, I suggest meditation. But you go into your heart chakra and you say, okay, you can't just automatically compare this person who's not love bombing you to someone who has love bombed you. So you have to figure it out. How do I feel? What is my heart and my gut telling me? And you start paying attention, and you seek out what are their intentions. Because it's not hard to see someone's intentions. When you listen to the way they speak, when you pay attention to their body language, you just pay attention to how they treat you, you can tell what someone's intentions are. Now, when you're sitting in that front seat, that observer seat, and you're just observing, taking a step back, not from an emotional place, not from a place of trauma or a place from the past. When you take that step back and you say, okay, now I know these red flags because the person I dealt with before, I can see those intentions. I can see how a lot of conversations are about sex and money. Come on now. So when they use you've seen those intentions, right? And I'm only saying these for those who see this, because some people are good. Oh yeah, some people are very good at it. They're good at building that illusion, and they're good at having false intentions. But as long as you're not in a headspace of being paranoid about it, Not consistently like, oh, what are you trying to do? What are your motives? Not like that. Not from a paranoid place, but just from a loving place, a logical place too, as well. Not too logical, but gotta have balance. People have to have balance. So you say to yourself, okay, he doesn't just, or she doesn't just talk about sex and money, or talk about this, that, and third, materialistic things, and stuff of that nature. They really care, and they expect the same in return, because there's supposed to be an equal give and take. If you're in a situation where it's not balanced that way, whether you're the one taking too much or you're the one giving too much, something has to change, because you're going to get burnt out and drained eventually. But don't complain, and it's not just with regular relationships as far as a spouse. It's with family, friends. It's with everything. What is this person's intention, right? That's like when someone's trying to sell you something. You have some people who don't care about the product they're selling you. They don't care about you. They want the money. But then you have those other people who've been out there all day. They're raising money for a good cause or for a situation or whatever the case may be. Or you have some people that really just love their job. They love to do what they do. It's all about intentions. So when it comes down to seeing anyone's intentions, whether it's from the person that lives with you or the person that's on freaking TV on the news, it's like, what are these people's intentions? As long as you're paying attention to intentions and your own intentions, what are your intentions? Why are you seeking out this information? You have to be self-aware now. You have to be in check, because you can't just be checking everybody and then you have issues balled up inside of you, because you're going to see things that don't exist. Illusion. Like I said, a lot of people create illusions for themselves. That's why I always try my best to always what's the best way to word this? I'm so country. I'm trying not to say this the wrong way so everybody can understand me. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one alone, because I'm just gonna confuse you guys, because I don't know how to say that technically in English. It's funny. Oh, why did I say that? Okay, anyway, moving forward. Now, once you see this, once you notice the intention and the illusions, you let it go. You let it go. If your intention is to seek out and see what someone else's intentions are, and you realize that they're not great intentions, but you only seek that out to make you feel better about doing something terrible to that person because you didn't like that person anyway for whatever reason, that's not what I'm saying. Please use, what's that word? Discernment. I'm trying to use words I don't even know how to pronounce. I know the word, by the way, people. I barely know how to pronounce it. But use proper caution. There we go. Use proper caution here. Please don't take my advice on my words and use them to benefit you in the way that you want to. Like, I really don't want you to listen to this and then look to your spouse next to you and be like, mother effer, da da da, I knew you, whatever. I'm just saying, because a lot of things are a lot deeper than some people realize, and I don't want anyone to just lay on the surface of the things that I say or things that I state. And like I said at the beginning, in episode 1, these are my experiences, these are my feelings, my ideas. You can take it with a grain of salt. Like, you can do what you want with the information as long as it's coming from a loving place. Where are your intentions? Okay, where are your intentions? Because some people, they listen to certain things just to discredit certain things. Some people like to nitpick when it comes to spirituality, and they like to tear it apart even though they don't have a foundation themselves. But let's just keep it positive, okay? And I love feedback. Yes, I love feedback. So provide me with feedback. Teach me something. I love it, I love other people's opinions and ideas, like I've stated a million times before. But anywho, but yeah, when it comes down to it, I feel like intentions and illusion tie into each other, because when you're on the outside looking in, it's a little, sometimes it's a little hard to even know what you want. Therefore, your intentions can be scattered. But at the end of the day, everybody's learning and everybody's observing. Everybody's trying their best to just live, you know? And I wish you all the best. I wish you all love and light, because this is rough, especially to those. Let me talk specifically. Let me talk specifically to my spiritual brothers and sisters, my woke brothers and sisters. There's no book, there's no guide, as far as like physically, that we necessarily can go to, and there's like this walkthrough. There's no walkthrough. All of it is, well, spiritual. And this has to be one of the most rewarding, let me say, first of all. It's the most rewarding thing you can do in your life, you know. And I'm not talking about religion. I knock no one's beliefs, no one's religion, I don't do that. I don't tear people's religions apart and nitpick at it, because I don't want you to do that to me. You understand? So, but going back to us, let me go back to talking to us real quick. But it's a difficult road. It's a tough ass road. You know, it's hard work looking in that mirror and doing the work that you have to do. But it's the most satisfying thing on this planet. I love the fact that I can see now. Like, I freaking love it. I love it. It's beautiful. It's nothing better to me, of course, right? This is my personal opinion. But like I said, people don't understand. People think it's just that easy. Like, oh, you just whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. Every group has their people. Now, I talk a lot about spirituality. And spirituality is different also for people. Everyone's journey, everyone's path is different. So I don't want you to take this and say, okay, this is what spirituality is. This is what it means. I don't want my episodes to be that way. That's why I plan on having more people on here to get different sides and different opinions. But everyone has their thing. So don't necessarily get sucked into labels, okay? Also, illusion. Because everybody doesn't have the same intentions either, you know? But yeah, like I said, it's rough. The illusions are thick. And like I said, you have people that are good. They are good at tricking you. And don't feel bad about that if someone tricks you. Don't feel bad. Don't say, damn, I can't believe I fell for that. It's okay. It's okay. Like, shit happens. You believe that they had good intentions, right? But for those of you who notice red flags, leave it alone. Let it go. If it's meant for you, it'll come back. If it's meant for you, it will work out. Let it go. Yes, it's easier said than done. But let it be harder mentally. Now, when I say that, I'm saying physically, get the job done. In 3D, in this reality, get the job done. Let them go. Now, mentally, if you can't let them go, we can work on that. You can work on that. Every day is a second chance. You can work on that. But sometimes you have to let things go. Let that illusion that you had, that you built. A lot of us hang on to relationships, family, friends, spouses. We hang on to relationships because we built an illusion in our head. We had expectations. You did that to yourself. Someone had to tell you. Okay, someone had to tell you. That person was always that person. You decided that you were going to change them. You decided that you was going to be that thing that changed them. You created that illusion. Yes, they may have presented one illusion, but you put another one on top of another one on top of another one. You kept putting band-aids on their illusion. So now y'all both unhappy because their illusion isn't really working too well. And your illusion don't even match their illusion that they have. Because you're still trying to force it to match your intentions. But the illusion that you built for this particular person does not match their intentions. Therefore, y'all are going to have a rough one. It's not going to really work out until the both of you make a decision. And guess who's going to make that decision first? Because it's not going to be the trickster. They'll get pissed, they'll get mad, and they'll take it out on you because you're trying to force this on them. You're trying to force this whatever illusion, expectations that you put on them, and they're not having it. They came in the game with a set mind, with a set intentions, okay? Okay? So, you have to break that. You have to break that yourself. The TV doesn't cut on for you and make you watch it. The news don't make you watch it. The government doesn't force you to vote for whoever you vote for. And that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day as far as politics, which I really don't too much get into. But anyway, but when it comes to illusion and intentions, that's where you come in at. You cannot expect someone to do it for you. Yes, you can pray about it, but are you going to take the guidance that's given to you? God can't do it for you. God can only guide you. Spirit can only guide you. They only can give you advice, give you signs, give you situations to work through. But are you going to do it? You're crying every night, or you're upset, or you keep repeating these patterns and you don't know what's going on. It's because you need to break the illusion that you've built around yourself. Break the illusion that was built around you. If it was out of your hands, of course it starts off out of your hands. Some people don't necessarily have to, because not everyone is, giving such a bad start. Because I don't want to just say it like that, but it's mainly for those. Now, if you were born with spiritually enlightened parents, OMG. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that one alone for right now. And you still made the decision to believe in illusions and things of that nature. I'm not judging. I'm not even gonna make a comment about that because everyone's path is theirs. Everyone's journey is theirs, and I can't really speak on that without it sounding judgmental. But if you were given that head start and you still went backwards, oh my God. Okay, anyway, so it's not too much else I have for that one, for illusions and intentions. It's just that you're in charge. You're in charge of every experience you have, any experience you have in life. You're in charge of your life. I want everyone to know that. Do not fall for the illusion that you don't have control. And when I say that, I don't mean, that would say, because saying certain things one way, because I do have to remember my audience, because depending on where you are in your spiritual awakening, that may or may not make sense. It depends. But you're to let go of control as far as letting divine source and divine timing take place. But as far as decision making, you have free will. That's what I mean. That's where the control part comes in at. You have that decision. You don't have to just sit there and take it. You always have some type of choice. And if you feel that you don't, research, talk to someone. You can email me. I think my email address is on my page. If not, I'll put it on there. But please talk to someone. Please do something don't just sit in that rut, in that depression, you know? I don't want anyone to feel like they have no way out. Everyone has a way out, you know? And I feel for my people. I feel for every human being on this planet. I really do. Because there's a lot of people who are asleep, and it's not, it's certain situations hurt my feelings a little bit because I see the potential in pretty much everyone. Everyone has that potential. Anyone who believes that they can't change, that is an illusion. That is false. If your intention is set to change, then that's what's going to happen. If your intentions are to be this, then you're going to be that. If your intentions are to make this person feel this way, then you will. Now, whether certain people accept it or not has nothing to do with you. Move on. I promise you won't remember it in 2 or 3 years. The quicker you move on, because you didn't waste time with these people, so there's nothing to really linger to. You moved on. The quicker you let go, the better. Like I said, what's there for you will be there for you. If a person's true intentions are good, then nothing can combat that. Nothing can defeat that when your intentions are good, you know? So, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, do what you can, you know? But practice awareness, being aware of yourself. Most of these examples, teachings, whatever, most of what I talk about is not for you to put on other people or apply to. Don't apply it to past situations unless you're reflecting with the intention on changing or figuring something out to better yourself. All of this is about yourself. All of this is about you. All of the advice I give is to better yourself. So if I'm telling you to do this, that, or third, or to whatever, it's to better you. Don't push this off on someone else. Like, yeah, you need to listen to this. Like, you might no, because if that's the vibe you're on, then you need to listen to it 2 and 3 more times, because that means you have to work on yourself first. Yeah, most definitely. You must definitely have to work on yourself first. Unless you got someone who's just hard-headed and you just been trying your best to tell them, but they don't listen to you, and they'll only take it if they hear it from someone else. That's a little different. That's a tad bit different right there. But if you can see how it could help someone else, but you don't see no help for yourself, that's a problem right there. If you listen like, well, no, this ain't, I don't know what she talking about. This ain't got nothing to do with me, but I know who need to hear this. Yeah, then you might want to need to listen to this a couple more times. Wind it back a few times. But it's all about getting yourself together. When you get yourself together, everything else makes perfect sense, people. Everything. When you figure yourself out, no one else is confusing. Not a man or a woman. Doesn't matter what sex they are. It doesn't matter. You even start being in tune with animals, and then nature is like a little chain there. Beautiful, beautiful. But work on yourself first before you start, throwing this off of someone else. Work on yourself consistently. Even when you think you've done a good job, even when you think you figured it all out, sometimes, like, there's videos on manifestations, there's videos on scripting, for example, that I've watched. I'll go back and watch them again. I have, my attention span is a little short. I got to work on it. I got like ADD or ADHD, whatever. I try not to, be on the labels or whatever thing, blah. But sometimes I have to, and I realize that about myself. And I found myself giving people half-ass information because I didn't really retain all the information I needed to, or I kind of clicked out the video or whatever I may have done. So I really had to check myself, like, okay, I can't teach someone something and I barely paid attention. Even though out of the kindness of my heart, I wanted to give this person this advice or tell this person that was my intention. My intentions were good, but they were good intentions towards someone else. What about the intentions towards myself? Why didn't I have that same passion for myself? The same passion I have for teaching, I should have 10 times that for learning, right? And that's not selfish. Don't ever think that self-care is being selfish. And if you do, oh well, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's really not. Like, you have to stop being distracted by the illusions and set your intentions on being happy no matter what's around you or who's around you, right? Being happy with yourself, being confident with yourself. Yes, it takes work. I'm still working on it. I'm giving advice about it. I'm still working on it. And it's not that easy. For some, certain things are whatever, blah, 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 etc., etc. But you know what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, do what's best for you. And I hope that my YouTube, my webpage, my podcast, all of these things reach people for that reason. I really, really, really love you all. And it may sound corny, it may sound like some shit you've heard, blah, 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 blah. But it's true. It's true because I've witnessed it. I am experiencing it. And life is a whole lot more beautiful and easier than we think it is. So, I'm about to go. I wish you all the best. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3. I appreciate you all. You all are beautiful. You're wonderful. And congratulations to you for taking the time out to even listen. And if you've made it this far in the episode, you're probably truly considering, digging deeper, and that is beautiful. And I'm glad that I can help someone. I don't care if it's just one of you. I help someone else besides myself. Like, that is so beautiful to me. So, yeah, I want all of us to climb out of the matrix. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Love and light to you all. And I wish you all a great day.